I came here a few hours ago from Mount Herzl, from Tomer Greenfelds, who fell in Gaza Strip with 9 additional combatants. Beside his tomb, over the last 2 months, a whole row of new graves have been added. Beside the last ones, the flowers have not withered beside those, which is true evidence of these dark times. 86 fatalities and new tombs have been added on Mount Herzl alone in Jerusalem since the 7th of October massacre. It's a very, very heavy price. But the aim that they fell for is definitely a worthy one. There is no juster one or more worthy. Alongside the management of the war, I have been following very, very closely the stories of those fatalities. At Hanukkah, we will say that that chain of generations is continuing, and we will speak about our ancestors who fell as well, and the grandfathers who are accompanying their grandchildren as they embark on their way to the battle proudly. Israel has been following with deep recognition and in mourning Gal Eisenkot, who the son of Major General Eisenkot, the son who fell, his son. Generation to generation, they are passing on that service with such honor, and the pictures that accompany them. One picture drew my attention most significantly today, that of Tomer Greenberg, who was not only the lieutenant colonel and such a wonderful leader, he'd only joined that battalion, and he's holding his daughter Arbel up high in his arms. He in his uniform with his beret and with his arms, and she is in her little flip-flops and sunglasses and showing such a wonderful smile, showing her love for her father. True, wonderful, happy moments of a father and a daughter. The 13th Battalion lost so many of its combatants on the 7th of October. The tragic story that day is a paragon of determination, valor, and courage of the combatants, the fighters of that battalion, and of all the IDF fighters, men and women alike. Hundreds of meters separate between Nachal Oz and Sajaiya, the neighborhood. In both places, the 13th Battalion fought with such courage, and they didn't leave Nachal Oz until they had absolutely killed the last standing terrorist. And that is the way they will fight along their friends until they have destroyed all the infrastructure in that neighborhood and all the terrorists. Just as they did not lose their valor and their courage on the 7th of October, they will continue fighting against the Hamas terrorists now as well. They are doing so at this very moment all over the Gaza Strip and in Sajaiya as well. For over 2 months, they have been fighting throughout the Gaza Strip in terrains that for many years were prepared for defense and as booby traps and traps for our troops. The Gaza Strip has been revealed to be the biggest terror camp in the entire world. Under the schools, under the hospitals, all of them disguise a murderous terror organization who are willing to come back again and again to kill and murder, just as they did so on the 7th of October. Our combatants are not allowing that. They are fighting because they see this evil and fighting against it. Behind them, the settlements of the Otef and the kibbutzim and the whole state of Israel is their tailwind. We are fighting for life, for our combatants, and the continuation of the state of Israel. It is imperative, it is incumbent upon us to complete this mission along that dark path, but a just path that was paved for us by the combatants, to destroy the Hamas, bring back our hostages for the sake of our future and for the future of our children in this country. These are terribly difficult hours, but these challenges that we face, we will. It is enough just to know, if we look backwards, what we have already achieved, and we must continue marching ahead until we have destroyed and dismantled Hamas. They are continuing to progress with their missions, but the soldiers will win over that evil. It is a matter of perpetuating it, continuing with determination, because this is a national task on our shoulders. And their courage, with that courage, we will win. We will win also for Arbel, the daughter of Lieutenant Colonel Tomer, and for all those who have sacrificed their lives for their children and for the future generations. And I am calling upon all the combatants and all the security forces and the families, and I would like to say, Am Israel is behind you. We are standing strong behind you, and we are proud of what you are doing. We trust you, believe in you, and we are proud of you. And on this important day, such a sad day, I will conclude with the words with Ben Tzruya and his brother fighting against the Ammon in Samuel 2 in the Bible. We are strong and we will fight we are the forces of God and we will win. And now, questions, please. Minister Gallant, why didn't they actually bomb that place before the combatants went in? Why aren't they actually demolishing those houses from the air before? We are working with tremendous force from the air and in every possible way, and I trust the decisions made by the commanders in the sea and in the air, and the commanders, unfortunately, whatever their decisions are, there are casualties.
Minister
Gallant, after that terrible loss last night, are we actually using the Air Force less, and perhaps is that dose not sufficient? And are you also actually discussing and striving towards some kind of solution with the hostages, or you're only continuing with the military maneuver at the moment? First of all, we are hitting out very strongly at the Gaza Strip in the north and the south, but to my chagrin, there are prices. No one tells us what to do. All those decisions are made by the IDF, and they're carrying out their work in a very impressive and in an excellent, outstanding way against a very cruel enemy. And vis-a-vis the hostages, the pressure that we have created and are wielding, and we did so on the first 4 weeks of the maneuver, brought back 110 hostages back, Israelis and 24 nationals. I'm sure with the continuation of this pressure and this maneuver, it will also bring results. I suggest that we do not deliberate issues of this negotiation so that we do not endanger those negotiations or the hostages. Is Israel doing correctly when it is sort of clashing with President Biden about what's going to happen the day after? After all, instead of wielding pressure about stopping the fight, wouldn't it be better if we sort of thought of a way to actually manage this conflict as we go along? I respect Defense Minister Austin and, of course, President Biden and the entire administration. They are doing so much, far and beyond, in order to help the State of Israel. If we're talking about diplomatic aid, we're talking about military supplies, and, of course, the way the American troops are also here with us. And I believe that we will find the way in order to help the Americans help us. That is the key. They want us to succeed, and we are aware of the fact that we must do so while taking into consideration their needs as well, without waiving what we need in this war. Is Egyptian pressure is what is actually sort of preventing you from creating more sort of pressure on the Philadelphia axis? Now, when we're talking, how can we ensure that all this, the weaponry will not be flooded into the Gaza Strip after we stop? I think that this program is a very good one. It is now progressing very well. We started in the north, and then we'll continue in the south of the Gaza Strip, and we'll continue acting wherever we want to. There's nothing that's going to stop the IDF troops other than a decision of our military command. And there's no one who's going to come and help the Hamas in any possible way by the Hezbollah or by Iran. No international assistance through pressure on Israel. If you're talking about the Philadelphia axis, we, of course, have our interests on the map, and we will eradicate those who are threatening us and threatening our peace in the future. So, of course, we will make sure that they will not be able to. And now directly to your answer about the prevention of for example, of their rearming themselves and the demilitarization. Of course, we will make sure that there will be troops there, and we will prevent that renewing of the armament of Gaza.